answer that question.
Let's see.
Right.
I don't see it in the packet.
I know I read it somewhere, but I don't see it either.
Maybe it was in the committee packet?
Maybe that's
You
what
want me
I
to find the
said.
link?
No, that's all right. Hey, Heidi. Hey, Jim.
Hello.
Imagine if this is what we had every meeting.
So many towns it is.
Is that right?
Some are, yes.
Yeah.
It's a very large cast of regulars.
Oh,
Yeah, so,
yeah.
yeah, Spirit Public County.
Wow.
I know this is the best job in the world for me.
Good. Let's keep it that way.
Oh no, he's here.
Hi, Nicole.
Okay.
Right. Thanks, Elaine. These last 2 minutes are the longest.
Oh, James.
So early.
I thought you weren't going to be here.
Next one.
Next month.
Next one.
Oh,
Friday.
next one. Okay.
End of the month.
That's when I have to.
Yes.
Okay.
No, there's probably nothing you have to do, actually.
I know, exactly.
I wasn't thinking. You're right.
Okay.
Even better.
I know. He kept being like, well, you're going to have to do it. I'm like, do what? Okay.
No, you have the EC meeting. Hopefully.
Okay, hopefully.
Yeah.
That you spoke
Yeah.
too
Oh,
soon.
Don't jinx us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm not seeing any familiar faces here tonight, so that's good.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
Ready for
No.
Issues.
But next meeting is when we're going to have the discussion.
I know.
I haven't
Yeah.
eaten lunch or
You
anything.
did that on purpose, didn't you?
I did.
I'm very thirsty right now.
I'm sure we'll
So
see
busy
Heidi
they
here for sure.
fire in
Heidi
public.
Hansen,
Oh, yeah.
I would think. We'll see who else comes. Okay, 7 o'clock.
I could not.
All right, good evening.
What was that?
Welcome to this February 13th, 2023 meeting of the Western Springs Village Board of Trustees. To honor our nation's heroes and especially to honor the men and women in uniform, many of whom are here tonight, who serve and protect our community, please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That sounded good.
Yeah. Thank you. I must say, it's very nice to see so many people taking an interest in municipal governance, so thank you for attending. Clerk Timmick, will you please call the roll?
Yes, President Gallagher. Trustee Chen.
Here.
Trustee Fink.
Here.
Trustee John.
Here.
Trustee Lewis.
Here.
Trustee Rudolph.
Here.
Trustee Carroll.
Here.
All present.
Thank you. Having read the agenda, does any trustee have an addition or deletion? Okay, hearing none, I will turn the floor over to Chief Kelly for 2 auspicious swearings in tonight. It's a happy occasion.
Thank you, President Gallagher and members of the Board of Trustees. It's my honor today to introduce 2 individuals who are being promoted in the fire department. We'll start with Captain Steve Smith. Steve, if you could come on up and join me. Let me give you a little information and background on Steve. Steve began his career in public safety in 1988 as an EMT on a volunteer ambulance service in his hometown in Cloister, New Jersey. Shortly after moving to Western Springs in 1999 with his wife Renata and their children Justin and Maya, Steve had the calling again to serve his community and joined the Western Springs Fire Department and graduated the Western Springs Fire Academy in 2001. During his 22-year career with the Western Springs Fire Department, Steve has been one of the most steadfast and active members of the department. He has led a number of important programs within the department, including a quartermaster who's in charge of outfitting all of our members with our personal protective equipment. Steve also runs our pump testing program and training our individuals on driving our vehicles and pumping our vehicles. Steve became a national accredited EMT in 1988, was promoted to lieutenant in 2016, and captain in 2020. Steve is also serves as a multi-site director for patient safety with Advocate Aurora Healthcare. Steve has a number of certifications through the Office of the State Fire Marshal. He has a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology from the University of Maine and a Master of Business Administration through Lewis University. So Steve, I'm proud and congratulations on your promotion. Clerk Timmick, could we?
If you could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Stephen Smith,
Having been appointed to the office of Assistant Chief of Fire and EMS
having been appointed to the office of Assistant Chief Fire and EMS
in the village of Western Springs,
in the village of Western Springs,
in the county of Clerk,
in the county of Cook,
excuse me, county. I have it written down too, yeah. Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the municipal code of the village of Western Springs,
and the municipal code of the village of Western Springs,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Assistant Chief of Fire and EMS
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of Fire and EMS
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. We'd also like to invite Renata, his wife, up to pin his Assistant Chief badge on. Congratulations. Next, we have Carl Hammond. Carl. Carl is currently a lieutenant with the fire department and being promoted to the position of captain. Carl began his fire service career in 2012 as a graduate of the Western Springs Fire Academy, and since that time, Carl has demonstrated strong leadership ability and the desire to make a positive impact on the department. In 2021, Carl was hired as our full-time training and safety officer for the department, and in that role, his mission is to ensure all personnel are able to safely and effectively perform the critical tasks required of their position, while meeting all the professional standards to satisfy state, federal mandates, including the Office of the State Fire Marshal. Carl also serves as our Fire Academy Director. for the department, whereby annually he leads a team of qualified instructors who conduct a 6-month basic operations fire academy for new POC recruits. Carl has become a nationally accredited EMT in 2013 and was promoted to the rank of lieutenant in 2021. In Carl's spare time, he runs Carl Hammond Design Incorporated, which is an internationally known business based in Western Springs that manufacture a full line of brass instrument mouthpieces. Carl has lived in the village of Western Springs since 2002 with his wife Anissa and his sons Ryan and Jack, who are also candidate firefighters with the Western Springs Fire Department. Carl also has a number of fire service certifications and has a Bachelor's of Arts in Music Business from Western Illinois University. And Carl, congratulations on your promotion.
If you could raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name,
I, Carl Hammond,
having been appointed to the office of Captain of Fire and EMS
having been appointed to the office of Captain of Fire and EMS
in the village of Western Springs,
in the village of Western Springs,
in the county of Cook,
county of Cook,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the municipal code of the village of Western Springs,
and the municipal code of the village of Western Springs,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Captain of Fire and EMS
of the office of Captain of Fire and EMS
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability. Congratulations.
We'd like to invite Carl's wife Anissa for pinning of his badge. Okay. Come on up, Jack and Ryan. Don't be shy. And congratulations, Carl. Thank you, President Gallagher.
Thank you, Chief. Assistant Chief Smith, Captain Hammond, congratulations on your promotions. So happy to see that. They're well-deserved, and on behalf of the board, thank you for your long-standing, dedicated, and more than capable service to Western Springs, and most importantly, to our residents, your neighbors. It is much appreciated. Thank you so much. Okay. You're welcome to stay. But past experience says no. Right. That would be torture for them.
It would be.
Okay, I was wondering if anybody was not part of that. Just the usual suspects, okay.
Put all the chairs out.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll see.
Okay. We'll now move on to the citizen comment portion of our meeting. This is when we open the floor up to the public. If anyone would like to address the board, please come up now. State your name. Good evening.
I just want to recognize Robert Schmidt, the building inspector, is leaving the department on Friday. Just like to get some recognition. He's done an outstanding job. He's probably one of the best, most qualified inspectors I've ever worked with. I've worked in 7 or 8 different villages over the years, and Robert was a real talent, a very well-educated, knowledgeable individual that was very easy to work with. So, I mean, obviously we're going to lose him, but I think for him it's a great opportunity. So just wanted some recognition for Robert.
Well, thank you so much. That's very kind of you. And yes, we're sorry to see him go. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board this evening?
Can we also address, is this for the right-of-way also? Or is that-
That's during the public hearing. We'll do that then. All right. Okay, since no one else would like to address the board regarding just general comments, we'll close the citizen comment portion of the meeting and move on now to the public hearings concerning the proposed vacation of rights-of-way and sales. So I'd like to open the public hearing for the combined right-of-way vacation with petitioner Jim Coniff and petitioner Ray Swappa. Clerk Timmett, can you just ascertain that all trustees are still here?
Yes, I can do that.
Thank you. Moving on, we have a statement from petitioner Coniff. If you would like to approach, please.
Thanks. I was not able to be at the last board meeting, so I just wanted clarification on what's being done with the 20 trees. I think that there's some agreement, but I'm not sure if that's on record.
Okay. Oh, you would like us to, I thought you, someone told me that you had discussed among yourselves how you were going to handle the trees?
Yeah, we were. I just wanted it to go on record.
Oh, okay. If you would like to tell us what that is?
I think the original.
If you could, please, I'm sorry, you have to use the microphone.
Part of the original letter that was sent out to Ray and Jim, there was a recommendation that the trees be removed within 30 days. I didn't think that was kind of the right thing to do. The trees can be replaced, so we can move them. So we are willing to move the evergreen trees or two other type trees that would not be able to be removed just because of the nature of the trees, but we talked about the evergreen bushes was part of the agreement.
Right.
I'm willing to move those and replace them on Jim's property as per outlined in that agreement. But like I said, I was just trying to, 30 days you can't move trees in winter, so I'd asked Ray and Jim to talk to the village and see if it could be delayed. There's no real need to move them. They're nice looking trees, etc. So
Right.
I just wait, before the next step happens, they would be moved and replaced.
I
on
see.
property.
So what's in question is this 30-day requirement to move the trees.
Well, also, I think just, who's doing the moving and.
I'm sorry, because we broadcast this for people at home, they can only hear if you use the microphone.
Sure, I think a clarification point also is just, our understanding was that John or someone else would, be responsible for the cost of that move over to my side of the property. And so I just wanted that to go on record, if that's our understanding.
That wasn't actually the understanding. The understanding was
Part of the condition.
the original agreement was that they would be removed by you and replaced by me of my type. I could pick up the type I wanted.
I'm sorry, could you pass the mic? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, the original letter that was outlined, that was sent out initially, talked about Jim having to remove them within 30 days, and then I would replace similar type trees at my discretion on the property. I just think the trees that are there currently are nice-looking trees, and I'd be willing to move them. So yes, they'd be at my cost to move them onto his property.
So you will, at your cost, move them onto his property?
Move the evergreen trees. There are a couple of
Yes.
trees that are mature, there are trees that cannot be removed.
Mr. Coniff, is this agreeable to you?
Yeah, I mean, that's our understanding.
Okay.
Email communication, I just wanted it to go on record.
Okay, thank you. And then with regard to the 30-day requirement, Director Supert, I assume,
Yeah, per our conversations with the emails with both parties, once the relocation of the trees would be in agreement between the parties of when it's appropriate as to when, because we don't know the timelines of what the redevelopment of the site might be looking like at this point. So I think we'll have tighter language in the right-of-way disposal ordinances once those are actually developed. We're just not there yet, but the intent is that the trees can remain where they are now. They can remain. Mr. Swappa said he has no objection to having them remain on his property at this time. So they'll continue to remain on that property until such time that they need to be relocated or removed, either from future development or the property moving forward with something.
yeah, that makes sense, right? Just common sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Coniff?
No. thank
Okay.
you.
We move on now to a statement by petitioner Swappa. Do you have any statement for us this evening?
I agree with what we all just said.
Okay. Thank you. Any statements from Attorney Jerusik?
No, other than, the pricing for each of the right-of-ways, just so it's for the public record. For Mr. Coniff, he will be paying $60,307.50 for a parcel that's approximately 2,800 square feet. And then Mr. Swapple will be purchasing a parcel that is 2,244 feet approximately for $61,710. We had a hiccup on pricing in one of the public hearing notices, so we're going to continue these public hearing until next meeting, because we did send out a supplemental public hearing notice. So if we can, we'll just, instead of closing the public hearing, we'll just continue it for 2 weeks. We will just reopen it. If there's anybody else that comes out that would want to make a comment, we'll take those comments. But under our policy, these are the only 2 individuals or property owners that can purchase it. Continuing the public hearings, just really kind of a boot and suspenders approach. We would probably be able to approve the right-of-way ordinances probably sometime in March. I've ordered plats of vacation for both transactions. I've still got to order title. And so that will be done in the next couple weeks. And then, we'll get the ordinances, draft ordinances out to each of the petitioners. And once we're good with the language, I would come back. I would anticipate probably the second meeting in March would be the latest, the outside, where we would do a final approval of these 2 transactions, and they would close sometime after that. So that's kind of a quick schedule of where we're going to go from this point forward.
Okay, so just so that we have the correct numbers in the ordinance, we are continuing this until our next meeting. That timeline just outlined by Attorney Jerusik, does that fit into your schedules as well?
It does.
Yes? Okay, great. Then we'll proceed with that schedule, continuing this until the next hearing. Are there any additional comments from staff at all regarding the right-of-way sale? Okay. Any other public comments? Okay, any questions from the board, discussion? This is not the first time we've heard this, so, and we will continue it again till our next meeting. Okay, in that case, there being no further discussion or questions, we will adjourn the public hearing.
Continue it till March.
Oh, I'm sorry, we'll continue, as I had just said, we would continue it, so we will continue it until our next meeting. Thank you for attending this evening. Our next right-of-way vacation public hearing, I will recuse myself from leading and hand it over to Trustee Tyrrell, because I am the director on the Illinois Tollway Board. I should not be conducting this meeting. So, Trustee Tyrrell?
Okay. Call the public hearing to order, and there's a statement. Am I reading the statement in?
You can.
Okay. There's a statement by the petitioner, Illinois State Tollway Highway Authority, requesting right-of-way vacation and purchase of a portion of Spring Street right-of-way and Oak Street right-of-way located west and north of Oak Street cul-de-sac, referred to as parcel TW5-16-91, contains approximately 4,798 square feet, generally described as a 5-sided pentagon shape consisting of the following dimensions: south boundary line of 38.33 feet, west boundary line of 198.2 feet, north boundary line of 29.38 feet, northeast boundary line of 75.32 feet, and southeast boundary line of 144.56 feet. Are there any statements by staff, or, I know this is later on in the meeting, but is there any discussion on this, or?
Just real briefly, the petitioner, the Tollway, has sought this property for purposes of incorporating it into the I-294 project. The village board did last fall enter into a intergovernmental agreement back on September 26, 2022, that covered a number of cleanup projects paving and different infrastructure projects where the tollway and the village are either collaborating on, or the tollway is providing money for the village to complete certain projects. This is one of those components of that IGA, was to complete this land transaction. Since it is not just a parcel of land, but actually a dedicated street right-of-way, we are providing the tollway with both a quitclaim deed that they've requested and our typical right-of-way ordinance vacating a portion of the right-of-way. Part of the right-of-way vacation will also include an easement to maintain a stormwater drainage easement that takes water from the Oak Street, Spring Street cul-de-sac and then drains it to a drainage swale that is picked up by Flag Creek. The tollway is, I made certain amendments to the tollway documents to their deed to add our easement language to the right-of-way ordinance. Their council and staff had no issues with that as of last Friday and confirmed that. So once we're done with this public hearing, we can close this one out and we can take final action. That shows up at the end of, on the agenda under new business.
Okay.
The pricing for this is, we're being paid $10,000 for the right-of-way, the portion of the right-of-way. That's a dollar amount that was based on an appraisal, a condemnation appraisal that they provided to us. If we did not turn this property over to us, they would have filed a condemnation lawsuit, and the property would have been conveyed under that scenario. So this is something that's, the pricing is outside of our normal right-of-way pricing schedule due to the condemnation issue.
Okay. Thank you, Attorney Jerusik. Are there any public comments?
Hi. Did I turn it off? Oh, it's on. Okay. My family and I actually live.
I'm sorry, can you identify yourself just for the
Yes.
record?
Brianna Canoe. Nice to meet all of you. My family and I live at 1620 Oak Street, so actually right next to this particular parcel that we're talking about. So my question is just relative to if we know and if we can be aware of what the tollway plans to do with this land.
I do not know what their end purpose is.
Okay.
Maybe staff, Matt, do you have any idea?
No, there hasn't been any discussion that I'm aware of in terms of development or anything like that. We do know that it's related to the tollway expansion project, so.
Yep.
But they have not expressed any indication as to what the intent is.
Okay. Because we know the project of is underway, right? We've seen the new wall kind of get torn down, been somewhat rebuilt, not fully rebuilt. So I was just trying to get a better sense of what they're going to do with that
We
land.
can certainly ask tollway staff
Okay.
to give some clarification on
Yeah.
that. But based on the materials we received, we did not have any, what the end purpose was going to be,
Okay.
other than to be incorporated into the overall project.
Got it. Okay. And do we know if they're still planning to take that wall down that's there and put a new wall up, or we don't know that yet?
That is part of the project,
Okay.
yes. Yeah, and we can certainly get you in contact
Okay.
with someone from the tollway.
Yeah.
They can answer all of
Perfect.
these questions and more.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Are there any other comments from the public?
No?
Yeah.
All right. Hi, Fernando Garcia, I'm neighbors with her in the same cul-de-sac. Just want to second the concerns that she has that could potentially sway how I feel, not knowing really what they're going to do with this area. Obviously aesthetically, there's other parts of the Western Springs area that it's just the wall. There's no trees, there's nothing to cover that area. So that's a big concern that I would like to be known. What exactly are they, beyond what they're going to do with that, how aesthetically is it going to look?
Mm-hmm.
Aren't we keeping a lot of the trees, the vegetation?
They've taken down so many trees.
Matt, do you know? Weren't they going to keep some of those trees back there?
I'm not aware of, once the property's there, that there's any requirement to keep any trees on their property.
It's terrible. It's made the sound even louder.
I live over there, so I have similar concerns with it.
Yeah, so I think not knowing what exactly is going to be done, I think it's hard for me to kind of wrap my brain around which way to really vote or agree or disagree on, not really knowing all the facts.
Why didn't we ask? Walsh Construction.
Well, I mean, we're going to give you the contact of the tollway and you can reach out directly and ask.
Yeah, I mean, we bought that property in
Yeah.
April 2021, and I reached out to the tollway before we even bought the house, and they couldn't give me any details.
Okay, well, we'll certainly get you all in contact with our contacts at the
I mean,
at the tollway.
tollway. I did say tollway. Okay.
Are there any other comments? Village Board, we have any comments amongst ourselves? I would just hope that the citizens are provided the information from the tollway. I found the tollway to be fairly communicative when I went through my issue with them, and I'm a little bit south of you too. It took a long time, but they did come out and explain things pretty thoroughly. I would hope the same would be to you two and others living in that cul-de-sac. Having no further discussion amongst ourselves, we vote on this? Or is it
Not right
later on?
now, it's on the
Oh, it's
agenda
on
for
the-
later.
Okay.
Yep.
It says decision, so that's
Correct.
for later on. Okay, then I'd have a motion to adjourn. Do I hear a motion to adjourn this public meeting on the right-of-way vacation? You all in favor?
Right.
Okay.
Voice vote, or is that a?
Voice vote's fine.
Okay.
Aye.
Okay. We'll vote on this later on, tonight's meeting.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Terrell. Appreciate it. We'll return now to the workshop portion of our meeting tonight. This is when our committees give the reports of the work that they overviewed in their committee meetings this past month. First up is the report from the chairman of the Properties and Recreation Committee, Trustee Chen.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Madam President. I'll keep it pretty tight. The Properties and Recreation Committee met last Tuesday, February 7th. The first item, the bid tab and recommendation, we reviewed two bids for various services. The first was janitorial services. There were 5 bids received. The committee reviewed the bids and staff recommended, and we concur, to approve the lowest bidder, Vega Building Maintenance, for the 2023 janitorial service contract in the amount of $41,907. The second bid tab, I guess that's what it's called when there's various bids, was for tree trimming. 2 bids were received for the 2023 Parkway tree trimming contract. We reviewed the 2 bids and staff recommendation, and we concur and recommend board approval for Winkler Services for the 2023 tree trimming contract in the amount of $105,000. And we discussed a little bit about how the tree trimming works, and different areas of the village are trimmed during different annual contracts. So those 2 recommendations will move on to omnibus unless there's any further discussion of them. Item B, contract renewal, HVAC maintenance. We did talk about the HVAC maintenance contract, and we reviewed and recommend the renewal of the contract with YMI Group. This is the last renewal in that contract. The one thing that has changed is emergency repair hourly rate has gone from $110 an hour to $175 an hour. So that is that. And then lastly, but not least, we reviewed and we recommend declaration of the fire department conference table as surplus. And we hope that they can get the $400 that they're asking for it on governmentsurplus.com or whatever the site is. So, yep. And then as far as the capital summary report, we talked a little bit about the projects that we are reviewing in Properties and Rec, and one item we discussed was that the stop signs have been installed on Hillgrove Avenue by the West Underpass. And we did spend some time talking about the internal stairs at the historic water tower. We shall see how that how that project progresses, but it is a challenging project. If anybody's walked on those stairs inside the tower, you know they're a little bit
they're
awkward.
Yeah.
So, and that is it. That concludes my report. I don't know if there's any other questions, but that's that.
Thank you, Trustee
Yes.
Chen. Any questions? It's that time of year again now where we
Yes.
approve those annual contracts and, very important work though.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
Thank you. Moving on to the report from the Public Works and Water Committee Chair, Trustee Fink, you have the floor.
Right, thank you. So the first item is the 2023 Road Salt Purchase Program. So the village joins with the state of Illinois to purchase road salt, and the state of Illinois issued the contract to Cargill, and we're recommending approving the contract for $72.60 per ton for 1,100 tons. We don't have a specific amount because it depends on how much salt we use, but we do have to use 80% of that 1,100 tons that we've ordered. And this is a budgeted item that's on the budget so far. The next item is the lead service line inventory and replacement funding special meeting. That has been changed. The finance department is going to look at special funding for that, and they'll bring proposals in March. The next item is the professional service agreement for the lead service line replacement. So that is replacing all the lead service lines in Western Springs. So we're recommending approving the contract with HR Green for $65,170 for phase 1 engineering of that project. And the next item is contract renewals. So the first one is street sweeping with LRS Clean Sweep. So we're recommending to waive the bidding process and approve the renewal of the street sweeping at the 2019 prices. So with that, it is 8 street cleaning cycles at $6,117.78 per sweep, for a total of $48,942.42. And there's also an hourly pricing for emergencies at $125 per hour. Next is the capital summary report. The Spring Rock Park water main is 80%, the project's 80% completed. And the water treatment plant generator, so that's what we were purchasing and ordered ahead of time, knowing it's going to take a while to get the generator. That is pushed back for the generator we're going to receive instead of spring of 2023, now fall of 2023. So that's pushed back even further. And for other, we have a change order for the IEPA loan, and Director Supert has more information on that.
Yes, thank you, Trustee Fink. No document in your packet this evening for this, but the village did receive notice this past Friday after the packets went out. The IEPA is looking to close out some of the paperwork regarding the Rose and Grove water main and road project. There's a deductive change order that was submitted to the village staff last Friday. We're in the process of reviewing that now, and we're hoping to bring that to the village board during the second meeting in February for approval, so the IEPA can close out the paperwork on that project.
Thank you. I'd just like to emphasize that a deductive change order means the numbers are going in the right direction for us.
Correct. That's what was, so that's what was brought it before staff again last Friday. We're going to take a look at it, Director Koza and myself, and then we're going to follow back up with Baxter and Woodman, who's the engineer on that project, and finalize those numbers over the next week or two.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Fink. Moving on to the Planning and Zoning Committee report, Trustee Jen.
Thank you, President Gallagher. I just have two things this evening. The first one is for Timber Trails subdivision, construction observation and development closeout acceptance of service agreement with V3 companies. So the village was informed by James J. Bennis in December that they are closing their doors and will no longer operate. Since they ceased operations, we need to find a replacement, and the village staff is recommending that V3 companies be engaged to perform the construction observation for the village, construction observation and development management for the village in Timber Trails. This is a 12-month project, the initial proposal is to have that term of 12 months, and it's expected that the annual fee for the work will exceed $10,000, and the man hours required will depend upon the amount of construction that is happening in Timber Trails. So we'd like to add this to the omnibus. Any questions?
Oh,
Okay.
we'll add it to the omnibus.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And then, as discussed in the, I think it was actually, was it 220? Actually, well, there's a scheduled meeting update on the 27th of February. Actually, it says 2022. It's actually 2023.
Okay.
So and during the course of the next meeting, the discussion will be regarding Crown Castle applications submitted to the Village of Western Springs on June 21st, 2022, seeking to place a small wireless facility antenna array and associated equipment on an existing wood ComEd electric transmission pole in the southeast corner of Lawn Avenue and 53rd Street. So this discussion, or this meeting, which will be an update from the village attorney, Michael Mars, we'll talk about this. If there's any questions from the public about this Crown Castle request, we'll have that discussion in our next meeting.
Very good.
Any questions? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Nothing else.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to Public Health and Safety Committee report. Trustee Lewis?
Thank you, President Gallagher. Our committee met last week to review design plans and construction costs related to a new American with Disabilities Act ADA compliant crosswalk on Burlington Avenue at the new West Railroad underpass. The new crosswalk will provide more direct access to Spring Rock Park from the underpass than the current crossing at Central Avenue. The preliminary design and cost estimates were in our board packets for this evening. And as part of the process, staff is seeking direction from the village board as to whether the new crosswalk should be constructed as a raised crosswalk. Raised crosswalks are more visible and also serve as a speed control device that would require Burlington Avenue traffic to slow down at the crossing. The downside is that the raised crosswalk is more expensive. Cost estimate for the project absent the raised crosswalk is $48,601. The cost estimate with the raised crosswalk is $72,427, an increase of almost $24,000, or about 50%. Citing safety concerns, staff is recommending we go with a raised crosswalk, and our committee is recommending the same. And staff is hoping to get some direction from the full board tonight as to which way we would like them to go. I should also mention it remains unknown if we will be able to use the rapid repeating flashing beacons that were originally planned for the Hillgrove side of the tunnel. We'll be able to use them on the Burlington side. We're still exploring our options with the Illinois Department of Transportation, in that regard, but you'll recall the village opted to make the intersection of Hillgrove and Prospect three-way stop at the tunnel instead of relying on the flashing beacons. I'll be happy to answer any questions and ask that we could give the staff some direction on the raised crosswalk.
Thank you, Trustee Lewis. Yeah, anybody have any comments or thoughts regarding whether to go with the raised crosswalk, which would be approximately $72,000, as opposed to the flat surface, which would be approximately $48,000?
All this came out of my committee, and I was in favor of it. I could say I was over there on Sunday. Now, it was moderate temperature. I saw multiple kids coming right through that tunnel, zipping right out, both ways, coming out into Hillgrove and out into Burlington. So I think it's a very small price to pay on our behalf if we can maybe prevent one person from getting knocked over. And this was February. I must have seen 6 or 7 kids in 10 minutes alone just coming zip both ways out.
Yeah.
Sorry, did you mention, so as far as I'm aware, the Park District has not put a cutout on their property.
There would be a curb cut as a part of this, and I think we'd lose like 3 parking spaces over there as well.
Well, I'm talking on the Park District land. Where does this crosswalk go directly from the underpass?
It goes a little bit further west and then turns into the park. And then you cross.
Oh, okay.
You cross right away, but then you would follow the sidewalk on the south side of the street.
Oh, okay.
A little bit to the west to get into the
So we are crossing directly from the underpass
Yes.
onto Park District property.
Yes.
There's a curb cutout there, directly to the south of the underpass.
Correct.
Okay, and
Right at
then
the exit.
Okay, and then the path jogs south.
Well, it's directly
I mean
across the
west.
street,
West.
and then
Sorry.
you would walk west
Yeah. to that existing
then turn
sidewalk.
left into the park.
Oh, but this is a development. I had thought that the Park District did not have a cutout and was not.
Can I jump in?
Yeah.
Okay. So part of the proposal would include a new sidewalk on the south right-of-way
But they are
to
cutting
receive people
Okay.
crossing from the underpass and to go to the new sidewalk about 100 or so feet west to the restroom facility.
Okay.
And then there'd be a short segment south to the existing path system. So
Great,
there's going to be,
Yeah,
there'll be a new sidewalk going in, because right now there's nothing on the south side of the road.
exactly. So this is a new development and good news. Great. Okay. I was not aware.
So the cutout then is further to the west.
No, the cutout's directly across, they
It's
said.
just a strip of grass that
Yeah. I
that
don't know
is
if you
adjacent to
can
a
see it,
fenced-in
Casey's.
playground.
Right.
We're gonna take out the
Tennis
grass.
court and the playground, yeah.
Take out the grass and put in the sidewalk, so that people can go across and then to the west and join up the
Okay.
sidewalk heading into the rest of the park,
Um,
rather than walking on the street.
Yeah,
Right,
no,
so right
I
now it
mean,
puts
the
you right
problem was that the Park District did not allow a cutout and a sidewalk on their property, but this has changed.
There's a graphic in our
Yeah,
packet,
245 is,
the page.
the page is 245.
Okay.
yes.
Yeah, it's all the way at the end. Yeah, it shows, you come out of the pedestrian underpass, you cross straight across, the cutout's right there, and then you head west on the sidewalk on the
Great.
south side of the street.
Your question is, has the park district agreed to?
Yes. I assume yes?
Yeah, Director Koza, do you want to?
Yeah, I can answer. We had a meeting with the executive director and his staff probably 2 weeks ago. They're all in favor of it. With this proposed sidewalk that we're proposing
Yeah.
as part of the project, there isn't a whole lot of impact to them, so.
And the cost is being borne by the village?
Yes, because the work is mostly in village right-of-way.
The cutout and the sidewalk on their property is our right-of-way?
It is our right-of-way to the south just a little bit.
Okay.
Not quite where their fence is, but basically where their fence is, that is all village right-of-way.
Oh, okay.
So is there
Great.
anything budgeted for this?
Yes, and the 48 and the 72 is just the crosswalk, and it doesn't have anything to do with the sidewalk?
That's the project.
the whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing.
Yeah, and the
Ah.
46,000 is budgeted, but if we go with the raised crosswalk, we would need a budget amendment down the page.
Director Essendono, do you mind filling the board in on where we could potentially find funds for the budget amendment?
Yeah, so this project sits in the Burlington Northern Fund, so those funds could only be used for anything on the Burlington Northern project. After the anticipated grant money comes in from the underpass construction, the fund balance is expected to be about $1 million, so the $27,000 would be there to be able to use.
Are we planning on reimbursing the special purpose fund for any, right? Because we use money from the special purpose fund to cover, because the grant money for the Burlington Northern project had not come in.
Yes, so we did do an internal transfer from the special purpose for $980,000 in 2022.
Right.
We could decide to, if
Okay.
to make it a loan to that fund from the special purpose.
Okay.
And then we could always transfer it back.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments regarding the raised crosswalk question?
Sorry, we didn't answer that part of the question.
I like to raise crosswalk. It makes sense. I mean, you don't want to pinch pennies when safety could be
Absolutely.
concerned.
I think it's very much common sense. Once again, these are well-trafficked places for kids, between the pool on the one side and the park on the other, and the rec center, and I could go on. So I think whatever we can do to slow traffic down would be beneficial.
I played tennis there a lot in my childhood. People do go pretty fast down Burlington, so that would be helpful. The other thing is we're not using the beacon lights now on Hillgrove, so it would be great if we could use them, but that is we're unsure. So I suppose that the raised crosswalk would be good plan, right? Is that what you're, yeah.
No matter what, I think,
Yeah.
Either way. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beacons are still an option if IDOT's okay with them being moved to that position
Okay.
in their original project.
Okay.
Okay, I think staff has the concurrence of the board to proceed with the raised crosswalk option. Thank you.
And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you very much, Trustee Lewis. Moving on to the Finance Committee report, Trustee Rudolph?
No report tonight.
Thank you. Then moving on to the General Government Committee, chair of that committee is Trustee Terrell. Do you have a report tonight?
Thank you, Madam President. I have a brief one. I have two purchases and a contract. The first order of business concerns purchase of some new computer network core switches. The core switches are at the center of our network. They connect all of our computers to each other. Our current core switch is 10 years old. It's reached the end of its efficiency. This is an extremely important piece of equipment, and what we are proposing will also allow an upgrade to 10 gigabyte connections. Now, we approved the new switches last April. We didn't receive them from the manufacturer because of a supply chain problem. Director Schramm has found the equipment from VBT Digital for $22,000, along with two other server room switches for $23,719. Because these purchases exceed $25,000, we'll need board approval, and also a bid waiver because there is no other sources from which we can purchase the switches other than VBT. The second order of business is we need new licenses for our village servers. We have 4 servers consisting of 3 physical servers running Windows Server 2019 Data Center Edition and a backup. There are 88 processor cores on the 4 services, and it's cheaper to buy the upgraded data center licenses per core data center licenses. Am I getting this right? Rather than buying the Windows standard server licenses for each server. We need these new licenses for these core processors. It totals $38,860. Again, it's over $25,000, which we are able to purchase from VBT Digital. The good news is that we will receive $10,000 off top of this from LTAC, because LTAC uses all these servers, and that will bring the net cost to the village of $23,860. The prices on these are set by government pricing. My last order is we need to reduce paperwork and lower the number of printers we have throughout the village. Although we do need some smaller printers, we can save about $500 a month by removing some of the printers and replacing them with color copiers, thus removing many of the smaller color printers. We can save the village, what, $500 or $600 a month? Was that what it was? Yeah, $600 a month. We have a contract in place with Total Technology Solutions Group to replace the printers with the copiers. Oh, here, at $42.71 per month, it will need board approval. Are there any other questions on these relatively simple matters? That's all I would have.
Thank you, Trustee Terrell. I just want to thank Director Schramm for tracking down those switches, and so that we can get that project going. I think that'll be a wonderful thing. I honed in on the word redundancy in your memo, and having some redundancy in our system is always a good thing. So thanks for staying on top of it.
Yeah, generally we go for as much redundancy as we can afford. Redundancy is a big keyword down there.
Right. Any other questions? Yeah, okay. Thank you, Trustee Terrell. We'll now close the workshop portion of our meeting and move on to consideration of agenda items during the special meeting portion of the combined meeting. First up, if you would introduce resolution number 23-2716, Trustee Terrell.
Thank you, Madam President. Resolution number 23-2716 is approving the appointment of Sean Gilhooly as Director of Law Enforcement Services for the Village of Western Springs, effective March 6th, 2023.
Thank you. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second. Oh, sorry.
Any discussion? We've talked about this in the past. Okay, may we have the roll call vote, please, Clerk Timmick?
Yes, President Gallagher. Trustee Kent.
Aye.
Trustee Quigley.
Aye.
Trustee John.
Aye.
Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Rudolph.
Aye.
Trustee Terrell.
Aye.
Resolution carries.
Thank you. I feel like we are very fortunate to have Chief Gilhooly join our ranks. I think he will be a wonderful fit, and we look forward to working with him. The next one up, Trustee Tiro, if you could also introduce item number 2.
Yes, there'll be ordinance 23-3120, approving and authorizing the vacation of a portion of the Spring Street right-of-way and the Oak Street right-of-way located adjacent to and west of the Oak Street cul-de-sac and west of Lot 1 of the Van Beest subdivision within the J.C. Caldwell's subdivision, and approving a quitclaim deed and a plat of right-of-way vacation for parcel TW 5-16-091 and reservation of Oak Street cul-de-sac stormwater sewer drainage easement relating to said right-of-way vacation. The petitioner is the Illinois State Toll Highway Authority.
Thank you. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Any discussion, questions, comments?
Did this item go through general government? Maybe? Yes, okay. So you guys had a discussion of this item in your committee. Okay. So.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, Clerk Timick, may we have the roll call vote, please?
Yes, President Gallagher. Trustee Chen.
Aye.
Trustee Fink.
Aye.
Trustee John.
Aye.
Trustee Lewis.
Aye.
Trustee Rudo.
Aye.
Trustee Tiro.
Aye.
Ordinance passes.
Thank you. Moving on to other reports, I have no report this evening. Deputy Village Manager Bernacki, welcome to the dais.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Nice to see you here.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I have one report tonight. It is on the capital infrastructure plan study. We have a survey out there. I'd like to just reiterate that the survey will be live for quite some time. It's an option for residents and business owners and really all constituents of Western Springs to say their piece about what our infrastructure means to them. It is very informational for us to gather this information as part of the plan. It's a very engineering-based plan, but public input is being sought after on a multitude of occasions. Just this one being the first. We have at least 2 to 3 other public input sessions that we have planned, but the survey is the first one, and it really allows the public to give as much information as you want on what you think about our infrastructure. So that survey is live. It's available at wsprings.com/capitalplan, and it will be live for the next couple of months. And that's all I have tonight.
Okay, thank you. Attorney Jerusik?
No further report tonight.
Very good. Is there any other business a trustee wishes to discuss this evening? Okay, hearing none, may I have a motion to adjourn?
I'd have that motion to adjourn tonight's village board meeting.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, ladies and gentlemen, we stand adjourned. Good evening.